Alright, Schlockmeister fans, we're going to watch something called Girls' School Screamers. Let's check it out.
Tyler.
Our movie starts in a haunted house.
Come to me, Tyler. Come to me. Tyler. Here I am. Kiss me, Tyler. Kiss me.
You see, Doctor,
Poor kid ended up in the hospital.
for the most part, and all the young ones thought the house was haunted, especially after he had died. All they knew is they saw Billy running down the driveway towards them, and he collapsed when he reached them.
On the other side of town, we have a girls' school.
Hi guys,
College.
should not go.
They're going to be given a job.
1 month from today, the entire Wells estate will be sold at public auction. Before this can happen, the entire Wells estate must be carefully cataloged against existing records.
So this group of 7 girls has been chosen from the college to come and catalog everything in this house. And they're excited because it's a big house, I guess. Doesn't sound like a fun job to me.
And do come when the place is completely in order.
Thank you again, sister. And it was a pleasure meeting all these charming young girls. I'll show myself out. Goodbye now.
Goodbye, Doctor.
They're playing a game they call Manhunt, which is just really hide and go seek. And one of them, of course, finds a diary.
Diary of Jennifer Wells, June 7th, 1939. My situation seemed as if it was filled only with despair and no hope.
What's Jennifer Wells like? How do you know that name?
When we were playing hide and seek, I hid in a room that must have been hers.
Tyler Wells is
Apparently there was an accident.
He invited Jennifer to spend the summer with him at this very estate when a terrible accident occurred.
Paul, it's Jackie's
Tyler Wells,
boyfriend.
40 years ago, had a niece who went to Trinity. She wound up spending her summer vacation at his estate. She was killed there in a terrible fall.
David, a Trinity girl was killed here in this house.
Who said anything about being killed?
And then she died accidentally from a fall.
That's what everybody was told. But I think she was murdered.
Naturally, the next step is to have a seance and try to reach the dead girl. And apparently she's listening. She started to spell the word picture. And speaking of pictures, they find one. More like a portrait, and it looks just like Jackie.
Jackie, it's you.
Then we get a flashback to Jennifer 40 years ago and her Uncle Tyler.
Thank you, Uncle Tyler. Thank you for coming to visit me. I know that you're
She went to stay there when her parents died.
You're the only family I have left.
And at the end of
He
the
wants
dinner,
to take her to Europe with him.
Jennifer, have you given any thought about coming with me to Europe?
That's all I've been thinking of. But I don't know how I could leave school and Mother Urban.
Jennifer, these have been the most important weeks of my life. That's how I want you.
And he's a pervy uncle, apparently.
No, Tyler! All I could think of was to sort things out by writing in my diary.
Her boyfriend, Paul, finds some old newspaper articles regarding Jennifer's death 40 years ago, and then he's like, hey, wait a minute. Back at the estate, Rosemary plays in the dumbwaiter.
Rosemary.
And then later on, another one of the girls finds Rosemary's body. which of course makes her the next victim. Another victim walking down by the water for whatever reason. Then two boys show up, including Paul, Jackie's boyfriend.
Listen, I've got to see Jackie as soon as I can. Last night, Dad and I were talking, and told me about a girl that died here over 40 years ago. So I went down to his office to look at some old clippings. You're not going to believe what I found.
The other guy doesn't last too much longer. We don't actually see what happens to this girl, but I'm guessing it's not good. Paul's next. I don't know what the hell that is.
All right, girls, come on out. Enough is enough. Jackie's getting...
Jackie goes down to the basement and her 6 friends are all lined up. One of them is actually still alive. And the nun's still alive.
Jennifer, I have come for you.
It's Uncle Tyler.
I knew you would return, and so I've waited all these years. Jennifer?
I think Jackie's channeled Jennifer.
Jennifer. And not some unsuspecting girl to add to the list of your ghoulish murders. The list which started 40 years ago when you tried to force a young girl into intimacy with you.
We finally see the fall that we've heard so much about. But instead of joining, she decides to poke him in the eyes. And that apparently kills. No cops, but a doctor shows up.
Doctor, we have to get him to the hospital right away.
They all hop in the car, head to the hospital, and that's how our movie ends. Well, I guess the ghost of Jennifer has one final scene. All right, let's talk about Girls' School Screamers, which Vinegar Syndrome put out not long ago. The finishing school that finished them off. Look at that there. So, what we have here is a movie, first of all, that I taped off of cable, I think, back around 1986 or 7 or so, something like that. Had on a beta tape with 2 other movies, Scream for Help, which I actually reviewed not too long ago, and Light Blast, which I'll be actually reviewing in the near future. It's a horror movie. There's a cheaper DVD out there put out by Troma, which I have. Vinegar Syndrome has upgraded this and it looks a hell of a lot better. I'll just tell you a quick story about this movie. I was actually watching this movie just now, a few minutes ago, and I received a text message or a Facebook message actually from my friend Jenny. And she said, "What are you watching?" I told her I was watching a movie. She said, "What are you watching?" I said, "Girls' School Screamers." And she said, "Ooh, sounds sexy." And then I described it. I said, 7 college girls spend the night in a haunted mansion and there's not one fucking boob. And she came back with, "What the fuck? All movies like this should have boobs." She's right. And that's disappointing. That's it's really the only the only negative I have about this movie. No nudity. You'd think with 7 college-age women hanging around by themselves in a haunted house in a 1980s horror movie, there's going to be some shower scenes or some lesbian action or something. Nope. Not a single boob, butt, or anything. So anyway, Girls' School Screamers. 7 college girls have to spend this night in this estate, this big mansion of some sort, where I guess somebody passed away or something. And they're there to help this nun. I guess they go to some sort of girls' school, college thing. And they're supposed to catalog everything that's in the house to help with the estate planning or something. I don't know. They were given this special gig because they had won some sort of award something in the past, and I guess they thought this was a good thing for them, something fun that they would want to do. I can't imagine spending a weekend keeping track of everybody's crap, but whatever. That's what they do in this movie. Turns out 40 years earlier in this house, a girl who also went to that same college died. Her name was Jennifer Wells. And apparently her parents died in a plane crash or something. So she had to go live with her uncle, Uncle Tyler, at this estate. And then apparently she died. She fell down the steps or something. And it's always been kind of like a mystery of what exactly happened to her. Well, through some series of flashbacks, we see what happened to her. Uncle Tyler started to come on to her, wanted her to come to Europe with him, and trying to make the moves on her. She freaked out and she ran down the hallway, and then eventually he caught up to her and said, "If I can't have you, nobody can have you." Tosses her down the stairs and she dies. The very beginning of this movie, we saw a scene where a kid had run into the house and saw the ghost of her coming down the stairs. Not sure why the ghost would be going after this kid, but whatever, right? So turns out one of the girls, Jackie, one of these 7 college girls, looks just like Jennifer from 40 years earlier. There's a big painting of her on the wall. Her boyfriend finds a newspaper article, sees a picture of her, and it freaks out and decides to go visit her as well. And then somebody starts picking off all the college girls one by one. And once these 2 boys get there, kills them off as well. Eventually, in the last scene, we see Jackie, all of her dead friends are lined up in a row, kind of like Happy Birthday to Me. And we see Uncle Tyler. Apparently, he was involved in some sort of Satanist things. And he's been waiting 40 years to finally get Jennifer back. And then, I don't know if Jackie channels Jennifer a little bit or what, but somehow she goes up to him and then she basically pokes his eyes out and kills him, I guess. I don't know if he was alive to begin with or was he a ghost or something. I don't know what the fuck he was. But anyway, she killed him, and then next thing you know, the doctor showed up, and Jackie, one other girl, and the old nun left in a car, and that's how our movie ends. There you go. Girls' School Screamers. Again, it's not a horrible movie. It really isn't, but it really could have used some spice with some nudity in it. I mean, that's what's missing from this 80s horror movie. It came out in 1985. So, but actually the plot, I mean, it's insipid. It's ridiculous, but I wasn't bored by it. So we'll just leave it at that. So it's a good way to kill 86 minutes, but man, where are some tits, right? Check it out. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about Girls' School Screamers. Watch it. Bye. Need some boobs.